BBC's Sara Cox admits mistakes were made in horror interview with A-lister. BBC radio DJ Sara Cox has opened up about the impact Sacha Baron Cohen's controversial interview still has on her 22 years later. The comedian appeared on Sara's BBC Radio 1 breakfast show in 2002 as his character Ali G. However, things took a turn when the now 52-year-old used a string of expletives live on air. During the show, which had an average of 7 million listeners each week, Baron Cohen made offensive comments and references to sex and drugs. He then blurted out a swear word when he criticized the censoring of his song, Me Julie, with Shaggy. The Borat star said, "How comes people on this station is allowed to say the C word and MOTHER fur, but me can't say poonie? How is that not racialist? Answer me that." Sara, who was 27 at the time, was forced to apologize for the outburst on air and again after the show. The BBC said it had received 20 complaints from listeners. Recalling the incident on the new episode of How to Fail with Elizabeth Day, Sara, 49, admitted lessons have been learned. She said, "I was so young, and I was definitely really unprepared. Mistakes were made. The interview shouldn't have been allowed to happen as it did. We were way too trusting of Sacha Baron Cohen, because he wanted to do this interview, and because he was being interviewed in character. He provided us with the questions, and then he'd written a script for his Ali G answers. Which, looking back now, I just don't think we'd do it now. Or if we did, it would probably be a pre-record if it was with a controversial character trying to get as much publicity as possible." Reliving how the events played out following Baron Cohen's expletives, Sara continued, "The world stopped spinning for a second. It was just like, I can't believe he said it. I look to my producers and they just look shell-shocked and kind of giggle nervously. I'm just flailing around like I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I obviously know it's wrong and I need to somehow stop the interview, so I eventually play a record and then he leaves. And then afterwards, I sort of say sorry. And the headlines the next day, it was very much completely my fault. It was all on me. There was no shame put on him for stitching me up. I don't know Sacha at all. I'm sure he did it because he wanted publicity and it really, really worked. But it really did me in. It was really tough." Sara added that she heard the interview again a few years ago, and it left her feeling sick and out of control all over again. At the time, a spokesperson for BBC Radio 1 apologized for the incident, saying in a statement, "We are very sorry for any offense caused to our listeners. It is not something we take lightly. Everybody who come onto our shows is made aware of our content guidelines. The producers and everyone involved will have to sit down and see how this came about, and how it can be avoided in future." Sacha Baron Cohen did not comment.